if for those of you who do labor, happy Labor Day. For those of you, and I'm not going to name any names, Jack, that don't do any labor.
I mean, isn't this like the?
Oh, he's cutting me off now.
But isn't this like the official start of football season? Labor
I think
Day?
so. It is.
I mean, that's kind of what you look at, especially like with college football.
For college, high school, we're already ahead of the schedule. You think? But speaking of college, there's some good games on this weekend. Some that went down to the wire, and what about the Penn State Appy State game?
No,
that's crazy.
Penn State's got. I mean, App State has a good football team, and there's a lot of parity in college football now. There's good players all over the place.
So
you got to play each and every week.
I think Michigan figured that out years ago, and then even a couple years ago, Georgia and Nicholls State, I believe, might have been even last year, first game of the season. You don't just sit down and you got it. It doesn't matter who it is, and you have that same challenge week to week, and kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit. Last Thursday night, it was a Thursday night game, a little short week, and it looked like, at least from my perspective, which doesn't mean a hill of beans, but it looks like that maybe they needed a couple of, all right, guys, let's get it rolling, because you just quite didn't have the fire going for the first series or two, and then all of a sudden they woke up.
Well, I thought for the most part played fairly well. There was primarily in the special teams department, but, offensively we didn't punt all night long. Defensively, I think they had 7 rushes for negative 29 yards in the first half, and then they were 8 for 22 passing for 55 yards and no points. So, it's 40-0 at the half. But there were a lot of other little things within the special teams game, specifically the kicking game on kickoffs. We had a little hiccup there. We had a hiccup on the snap for the PAT field goal.
That's right. Okay.
And so, getting a few of those things fixed was number one concern today.
Well, and speaking of today, I guess you as a normal fan, we think that, well, they just don't have any school Monday. They just not practicing on Monday.
No Labor Day here.
Yeah, that's right. I got your text this morning.
Yeah, we were in the office at 5:30, and we practiced this morning. Kids were flexing at 8:30, and we released them about 12. And so just getting into the stuff, really cleaning up a lot of stuff that we did Friday night before we moved into Harris County. And so we accomplished both of those things this morning and feel pretty good about where we sit. We got a few nicks and, bumps and bruises that we need to get over. But for the most part, we're pretty healthy, so ready to roll.
Well, speaking of bumps and bruises, you might have had one or two that had a little bump and bruise on his elbow the other night, but then it wasn't that much longer. He wasn't going to play, and neither was any of pretty much the interior line, defensive line, offensive line. Is that at second half you were very fortunate to have a 40-0 score at halftime, and allowed you to get some significant playing time for the backups and what have you.
Well, and I used to be totally opposed to this, but we had 21 guys that we came out without their shoulder pads in the second half.
Okay.
And the reason that we do that, and it's kind of, you're between a rock and a hard spot. You don't want them goofing off on the sideline and their kids and looking in the stands. But on the flip side of that, you want to fight the urge as a coach if they start moving the ball or doing something, putting them back in the game, or things get sloppy, and letting those younger guys play and coaching them just as hard as we coach the first guys. And so one of my assistants pulled me to the side after the game Friday and said, man, you got to go a little bit easier on those scout team guys. They didn't get many reps. Now, the heck with that.
Yeah.
If you're going to step on the field, we got to get ready to play. And so we coached those guys really hard in the second half, and they got quality reps.
Good. I don't know why you should slack off on them as you would your starters, and I noticed. We noticed from the booth that plenty of guys getting playing time, and plenty of guys getting their names called. Montavious Hall, one of them, and he seemed like he was in every play. Cato was there. And Schweitzer from the offense was very smooth, looked good. Even when he had a bad snap over his head, he didn't try to lose his composure and run back and scoop it up. He just slid into the second base and corralled it like he's supposed to. And you just come back and do what you're supposed to do. And even though we allowed, what I remember is their number ones actually score a touchdown or two. Hey, we put together some nice offense, executed real well. And
the first series that we came out defensively with that second unit, Zy Varner made a good strip on the quarterback and a sack, and so we got the turnover. And then the next drive we had the pass interference. They kind of prolonged that drive across the middle, so they came down, they scored, they faked the extra point and didn't get in there in the back corner of the end zone. So it was 40-6 or whatever it was at that point. Then they came back down in the fourth quarter and scored and went for two and got it, to make it 14. But those guys, do a good job. They work hard throughout the week. You got people like Zy Varner, and those guys it seems like they've been around a while. They're sophomores.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
so you run a bunch of sophomores and a bunch of freshmen out there with Caleb Irvin and Andrew Townsend and all those guys, and they're getting a lot of quality reps right now.
And it looks like you moved Varner up to the line. Seemed like last year, wasn't he in the secondary?
Yeah. Last year he was a safety, and we just moved him down. Right now he's backing up because next year we'll lose Keem Makuta.
And he looked good doing it.
Yeah, and so you have Devin Hill on one side, and you got Keem Makuta on the other side, and then Zai, and Devin's a junior, so you'll have Zai and Devin next year.
Okay.
You know, going at that what we call our ram and line positions at the outside backers.
Interesting. Okay. Hey, with that, we're going to take a short break. You're listening to Troup High Coaches Show here live from Johnny's Pizza here on Lafayette Parkway. You guys come on out and have some great pizza. If you're at home, you don't want to cook, slip on out. They'll be open for another hour or so. Come on out and get you some pizza or some calzones. We'll be right back after these short messages.
It is the bottom line event at Nissan of LaGrange. Richard Cates, General Manager with Nissan of LaGrange here. We have $4,000 off all in-stock 2018 Rogues, $5,000 off all in-stock 2018 Altimas. How about $10,000 off all in-stock 2018 Titans? Don't forget that the Titan comes with a 5-year, 100,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Come see me at Nissan of LaGrange on the Parkway, or you can visit us where we are always open at nissanoflagrange.com.
Good food. Where do you find it? Because when you spend your hard-earned money, you want good food. So the place you'll find that good food is at Rogers Barbecue on New Franklin Road in LaGrange, where they only serve American-grown catfish, barbecue cooked to perfection, and with all the fixings to make it worth every penny. Rogers Barbecue is locally owned and run with care since 1945. Come eat with us Monday through Saturday from 11 to 9, or use our carry-out window. Rogers Barbecue, New Franklin Road, LaGrange.
At Holmes Pharmacy, we offer low-price generics whenever possible. So if you want to go to a great pharmacy, come on in and you'll be dealing with the best. Holmes Pharmacy, and we have a great selection of diabetic supplies and a good selection of over-the-counter medications as well. Holmes Pharmacy now with 3 locations, Hamilton, LaGrange, and now in Sawmill inside the Piggly Wiggly grocery store.
Take the deal and run. Come on, take the deal and run.
At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center, we believe teamwork makes all the difference in your health. We believe that skilled people can achieve higher standards and exceptional results. We believe in a game plan that's focused on patient safety and quality care. At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center in LaGrange, we believe in life well lived. To learn more about award-winning healthcare, visit wellstar.org/WGMC.
In 1916, Auto Owners Insurance teamed up with local independent agents so customers could get fast, friendly, local service.
Bravo!
It worked so well, we decided to keep it that way. And 100 years later, we still do things the same way, by teaming up with local independent agents who deliver quality, personal service. Some might call that old school. Then again, maybe everything old is new again. Kind of refreshing, isn't it?
Mallory Agency at MalloryAgency.com. For all your insurance needs, it's the Mallory Agency.
Now back to the Coach's Corner live at Johnny's New York Style Pizza on Eagle 102.3, WLAG 96.9 FM, 1240 AM, and online at Eagle1023.com.
Hey, and welcome back to Troup High Coaches Show. I'm your host, Greg Hicks, along with head coach Tanner Glisson. We're here talking about kind of reviewing last Thursday night's victory over the Columbus Blue Devils. They were the Columbus Cougars for a little while till we
Really?
I
didn't know that.
We got it straight in the booth, and we were having a good time.
That's a first on me.
We changed the mascot within a couple of minutes after the game started, made sure they had the right uniforms on. But we always have fun in the booth, and if we can't make it fun, we might as well give it up. I'm turning my resignation in, by the way. No, we've had a lot of fun, and it's actually fun to go into a contest and see what you did Thursday night, and look at all phases of the game. Your kicking game, you had some strategy involved in your kicking game, and it looks like Helson Martinez is getting the ball. I mean, he had it down into in between the 5. He about backed him up to the 7. I know they caught it. got to work on maybe some height on it, some hang time, but he's getting some distance on it. And even when you're asking him to drop it into about the 25 to 30, 20, 25 yard line, he's putting it where you ask him to.
Yep.
So there's some strategy with him. Like we talked last week about missing somebody like a Rayford who you kind of depend on to put it in the end zone.
Sure. It takes a lot of pressure off of
It does.
But, we just had a couple busts on the kick coverage, and especially on the backside of our coverage when we're trying to go either right or left. And it's that group that's coming all the way across the field from the other hash that has the hardest job because they have certain landmarks that they got to hit, or if not, you get out of your lanes. Mm-hmm. And so we just had trouble with that. We had a new guy that was on that one side, and then we had another guy that was new to the contain situation, and we just didn't get it done on that side. We worked really hard on that today, and you'll see some different things this week on us mixing it up a little bit so people can't get a beat on what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, and coming in, Columbus looked good. They were good and healthy. They were big across the front line. Quarterback was very talented. Could throw the out pass real well, and he had a couple times where he went deep on us, but. It kept us on our toes, kept us balanced from a defensive standpoint. Couple times, you pin your ears back and come get them, but at least it keeps you. Yep. They had a way of keeping us honest, and so, like you said, you gave us a stat earlier that they had just a handful of yards in the first half, and they had a handful going a different way, negative 29.
Well, based on the sacks and all, mm-hmm. and they were 8 of 22 for 55 yards passing in the first half. But Columbus, I think that we'll look back on this game down the road and say, hey, that's a solid football
mm-hmm.
team. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to win the region or anything like that, but I will tell you I believe that they are a solid 3 or 4 seed out of that region. Mm-hmm. And then, I think, and this I mean this respectfully, I think we made them look a lot worse than what they really were. Mm-hmm. And there are times that certain offenses match up well with, or we match up well with certain offenses. Mm-hmm. And when we have as much speed and people on the perimeter that we do in the pass rush that we have, it kind of, worked in our favor the other night. But I'm going to tell you, I'm really impressed with Columbus. They don't have the depth to be able to, 2 platoon or whatever, so they have a lot of guys going both ways. But if they can stay healthy, they're going to be a solid 3 or 4 seed, I believe, out of that region. Mm-hmm. And so we'll look back, and that'll be a solid win for us at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of, a solid win, you guys came in on I think you gave them Friday and Saturday and Sunday off.
We came in Friday morning after the game Thursday, and we ran and we ice bathed and did some therapy and stuff and gave them Friday off, Saturday off, Sunday off, and then came in early this morning.
And I'm going to allude to one thing before we head off but ice baths. I hear about it, and I've seen guys step in it, but I've never actually sat down in one, nor did I think I want to. But
it's not the most fun thing in the world.
Give me the purpose. What are you trying to achieve with that ice?
Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to those veins and things get inflamed. Get some soreness. That lactic acid starts sitting in and stuff. And so what we try to do is we tried to come in Friday morning and kind of go the old adage of going hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. And so we tried to come in and get their blood flowing by moving around, doing some exercising, and then putting them in the ice and then getting them back out and just trying to help the recovery process or speed up the recovery process.
Okay.
And so, if you don't take care of those little things, it might be just like some hip flexor tightness and stuff like that. If you let it linger for 2 or 3 days, and they'll come in stiff on Monday and walking around. So we ice them, we run them, we stretch them the day after the game, or either if we play on a Friday night, typically we may come in and do that on Sunday, and which is not ideal. You'd rather go and do it Saturday morning, but I don't want to work them 7 days a week either.
I understand.
And so, but that's what we did, and this worked out pretty well for us.
Well, it's kind of like it's maybe a preventative maintenance in a way.
It is.
I know it would hustle me up to get well because I wouldn't want to get in an ice bath.
And we're treating this team a little differently than we have any other team that I've ever coached. Number one, it's a very mature team. It's these guys have been around a little while. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to make sure that we're very careful. Yeah, we want to win all these games up front, but all these non-region games, it's really about the region play and the playoffs.
That's right.
And so we're trying to be very careful not to put so much mileage on the legs of the guys that we have.
That's a good point.
Especially in the offense that we play in, and you're running wide receivers and people are running down the field. I can remember that first year we came in with Chance Hill and Cam Russell and all those guys. I mean, by like week 8, week 9, they could hardly walk.
They would just
and it was
give
a
out,
seven.
yeah. You could see it, too.
Well, some of those guys had to play both ways,
That's
and
right.
we were running them up and down the field. And, they had played maybe 7 or 8 games, but it seemed like they had played about 25 games.
Thank the Lord for depth, huh?
Yeah. And so the depth part of it, and we're real smart now about, or at least we think we are, about how we're trying to not put so many mileage on the legs.
That's a good point. Excellent point.
But, there's a fine balance because you got to be in shape. You got to be ready to play full quarters if you
That's
have
right.
to. And so there's that medium somewhere.
Well, like I say, it's great that you've got the depth. It's great that you've got you've generated the talent. You've recognized some talent a few years back, and you've grown that talent. And that's kudos to you and your coaching staff, and to the players to being coachable for you, for sure. As we look forward, we got a game Friday night. We're going to go down to Harris County. It's another non-region. It's a third game of the season, non-region game. They're I think it's a 5A school down in, I forget, they were in the region with like Upson Lee, I believe. And no, they played Upson Lee the other night.
Upson Lee's in Quad A and Harris is in 5A.
Okay, that's
so
right.
I think they're going to be in there possibly with Thomas County Central,
Bainbridge, yeah. They've got a big, geographically a large region.
Large one.
Yeah.
I feel bad for them on that. Yeah, absolutely. They made the playoffs last year and I think went down to Ware County and lost in the playoffs in the first round.
That's a long way to go.
Yep.
But, yeah, so we'll be going down Friday night. They've had some emotional challenges over the last couple of weeks with losing, I believe, their athletic director and passing away. So the school's been, it does affect. But kids tend to be real resilient. I'm sure hopefully they'll be up, ready to go, and giving everybody 100%. Not that they didn't this past week, but a lot happens in your life when you have that had a school happen. But hopefully, it's always been a good rivalry, if you will, between Harris and Troup, and they're both Tigers, and they've got an excellent facility down there. The tornado come through a few years back, and even prior to that, they'd already had that turf on there, and that gave them a chance to kind of do some modifications. At just a real good facility there on campus at the school. So if it's your first time traveling to Harris County, you can either go down 27 to Hamilton, or you can go down to I-185 and get off exit on I think it's 25 and go to 316 into the school. And Jack's making fun of me because I just enjoy geography. But anyway, it's a really good facility. You guys come down and support your Troup Tigers for sure. But it stands to reason it's going to be another good game.
There's no doubt about that. Our condolences go out to them. What they've had to deal with the athletic director and all. And Jamie Fox and I worked on the same staff down at Shaw for a year, with Coach Flowers.
Okay.
And so we know each other well. And it's his first year as a head coach, and he'll do a great job. He's a good football coach. But it's a very clean rivalry. And I joked around with a couple of guys. We're kind of like Harris County North. We butt up right there, and we're right there on that line. And when you're driving through Troup County, and then you pop up and you're in Pine Mountain, you're in Harris County. And it's just a very tight deal right there. And us kind of being out of the city of LaGrange, kind of on the south end right here, so it's a really good rivalry that we butt up and border each other. And they play they're a very classy organization down there, and they do a good job. And so we got a lot of kids that know each other. Some kids even actually went to elementary school or middle school together, and so these
some
kids
of them still go to church out at Rosemont.
Yeah, absolutely. We're Rosemont, and even in Pine Mountain, and so they all know each other really, really well. And so we're excited about that. They have a really, really good running back that's going to be the best running back we've played up to date is Calvin Harris, and he does a really, really good job. Big, strong kid, over 200 pounds. Does a great job on kickoff returns, extremely well. And they got a good quarterback. Not really sure about what their quarterback situation is going to look like. They've kind of played 2 guys. I think one of them may have got injured on Friday against Upson Lee in a very tight game that they lost, the last play of the game.
That's right.
And so, but it'll be a challenge for us going down there. That's for sure.
Well, we don't. As we talked earlier, never overlook an opponent, and it's always good, especially these local ones. We thought it was going to be a challenge going to Ridgeland. It was just as much of a challenge riding all the way up there and just getting mentally prepared. And the game turned out in our favor. But when you're local, you just don't know what to expect, especially with Harris County and some of these other local teams that we've had games with through the years and what have you as they build their programs as we're building ours.
Well, I can also remember this. I can remember this class of juniors that we have. I can remember watching Long Cane and Harris County play for the championship when they were 8th graders.
That's a good point.
So this is a good group that Harris County has that are juniors and I'm sure seniors. And ours as well. Because I can remember being down there and watching that championship game and think, hey, there's some good talent on both sides of the ball.
That's a good point.
And so we'll be excited to kind of see how that works out on Friday.
Interesting. Hey, we're live at Johnny's Pizza here on the Parkway. You guys come on out and have a pizza with us. You're listening to Troup High Coaches Corner here live from Johnny's Pizza on Eagle Sports. We'll be right back.
What do you see when you look at your home and your car? Do you see a bundle? A combo deal? That's how other insurance companies see them. But a State Farm agent sees so much more. Because a State Farm agent sees your home and your car as more than just four walls and four wheels. They see the things you've worked really hard for. So why not give them the protection they deserve?
Your State Farm agent is Matt Orr on the square in downtown LaGrange.
Hi, football fans. Jonathan Moose Map here from Clint Smith in Opelika, Alabama. We love this time of year with all the excitement of football, and we also love that Glenn Smith can play a part in supporting high school sports. We support the team, the coaches, the band, the cheerleaders, and of course the families and the fans. At Glenn Smith, we're proud to be your local Chevrolet Buick and GMC dealer with over 500 new and used vehicles every day. Online 24/7 at glennsmith.com. That's Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
There's a secret to beating injuries or ailments. Get the right team. Emory Southern Orthopedics, well-trained, experienced doctors, nurses, and staff are that team. These teammates listen and understand your specific condition and provide high-quality hometown care that will get you back into your game. For more information about Emory Southern Orthopedics team, visit www.southernorthopedics.com.
Calling all area coaches, high school coaches, travel ball coaches, and more. Mud Creek Team Sales is now selling sporting goods like Wilson, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Rawlings, and Russell for travel teams, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, and more. For more information, call Mud Creek Team Sales at 706-884-5592. Mud Creek Team Sales for all your sporting good needs.
Now back to the Coach's Corner live at Johnny's New York Style Pizza on Eagle 102.3, WLAG 96.9 FM, 1240 AM, and online at eagle1023.com.
Welcome back to Troup High Coaches Show. We're live here at Johnny's Pizza. You guys come on out and join us and see some of the – come and talk to Coach Glisson and celebrity over here, play-by-play caller. Jack Mormon's here. He'll be glad to sign your football for you or your microphone or what have you. Coach, you and I were talking off the field. We were kind of talking about some, this weekend, and I just saw the replay in Georgia Tech on the big screen. I know you're a big Tech fan, and we're just kind of going over some of what they're doing and what they did this past weekend. And
looks like St. Pius, doesn't it?
I tell you,
Harrison St. Pius.
They love to run the football, but and then we got to talk about academics and that's one of the things I want to kind of get off the just afternoon grind and what have you, but. It's important for these kids to, as you prepare them for that next level, as you guys get them ready to envision, they already got it in their mindset, but as they envision them playing at that next level, they're not going to unless they have a certain level of grades. And I know you guys are big on making sure they get their studies done, their homework done, and you guys, you have like an academic, a coach that kind of makes sure that they're on the right track and what have you. And some of you guys, when with the fan base, sometimes think, well, what's his grades? Is it like a 2.0? And you'd be surprised to hear some of these guys are up in the high threes.
Oh yeah. We have a lot of those guys that do a really good job in the classroom. The biggest thing is when you hear about a kid with a 2.0 or something like that, most of the time, more times than not, really, is they messed up freshman year.
Yeah.
Them making that transition from 8th grader to 9th grader. But one of the biggest things, and I think this is across the board, I don't think it's just a situation we're dealing with, is kids don't really read much anymore. And I don't know that even as a kid that I read a lot. Right. But everything's, just very – right at their fingertips with texting and this and that. And when I say reading in length, and so when you sit down and take the ACT or the SAT, you have to do a tremendous amount of reading. And your brain being a muscle is kind of, it's not really been tapped in or trained.
And been exercised like reading.
Exactly. You lift weights in the weight room to grow your muscles, but you also got to do a tremendous amount of reading, prepping for the ACT, SAT.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the things we're trying so hard to harp on. I know Ms. Watts and the staff there at Troup High, reading across the curriculum in a lot of areas and doing some things, that's a real good initiative, and we're all on board with that. And I think that will do nothing but enhance our academic performance.
Totally support the reading initiative. I don't care if you're reading a full-length newspaper article looking for your name in the paper or what, but discipline yourself to read the entire article, even if you need to go back to reread it to make sure you understand, or reread I'm kind of the same way.
I had to read things 3 times to understand it.
I do. Now, my wife reads all the time, and thank the Lord, Scott was read too early, and he picked up and loved reading, and I believe it helped him. And I'm talking about my son who just graduated Troup High, who's a cadet at North Georgia now. He just loved to read,
sure,
and he read books like crazy, and and
makes a difference.
And it does. I think it helps out the other areas of academia, and
Sure.
and hopefully all the guys will buy into that and get to reading, and it doesn't have to be just sports. But you know what? If that's all you can read, get involved. Get a Sports Illustrated magazine. Just read something. But anyway, proud of our kids academically,
Sure.
for sure, because that's a load when you so much emphasis is put on in the fall of the year, school starting, and it's football season, and
That's
the
right.
demands of football is tremendous for sure.
Well, and I think we've done a good job since we've been at Troup. Since we've been there, any kid who has started our program and finished with us, has not quit the team or whatever, we have a 100% graduation rate.
Okay.
And so, number one, that's the first, that's something that we can control really by our effort. If you don't have graduation tests like we used to have, 7-8 years ago. You have your end of course or
that's right,
or milestones,
pathways.
But so really that's controlled by effort. Want to extra work or whatever it be to help those guys graduate and staying on top of it, making a priority. And so we're pretty pleased with where we are graduation rate wise. But we also don't want our kids just to be average. We want to be better than average, and we want to push in every area. Obviously, in the weight room, on the football field, but in the classroom as well. We don't want to just be status quo. We want to try to be great, and so that's a big priority.
I have said years ago, and I've alluded to my son several times, but I used to tell him, look, if you want to be average, just hang out and play video games. But if you want to be the champion, you need to be working when others aren't, when there aren't. When they're just hanging out,
right.
You push yourself and read and go work out physically. Go do things that's going to push you to that limit. And that's a lot of self-discipline.
It is.
Because when the coaches aren't around pushing you, it's easy to kind of sit back. But, that's what they say about character is what you do when nobody's watching.
Correct.
It reveals that, integrity and character. So hopefully that's what you've instilled in the kids. And when we're not looking, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I think that shows up in a lot of different areas. In our conduct on the sidelines, in our conduct during the game. When you see a kid of ours in the community, I think that shows up in a lot of areas.
That's a good point.
And I think for the most part, we're doing it right. And we're kind of reaping some fruits of our labor now, going into our 4th year here.
I believe you're right. Hey, we're going to take one more short break. We're going to come back and wrap things up. You're listening to Troup High Coaches Show live from Johnny's Pizza on Eagle Sports.
It is the bottom line event at Nissan of LaGrange. Richard Cates, General Manager with Nissan of LaGrange here. We have $4,000 off all in-stock 2018 Rogues, $5,000 off all in-stock 2018 Altimas. How about $10,000 off all in-stock 2018 Titans? Don't forget that the Titan comes with a 5-year, 100,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Come see me at Nissan of LaGrange on the Parkway, or you can visit us where we are always open at nissanoflagrange.com.
Good food. Where do you find it? Because when you spend your hard-earned money, you want good food. So the place you'll find that good food is at Rogers Barbecue on New Franklin Road in LaGrange, where they only serve American-grown catfish, barbecue cooked to perfection, and with all the fixings to make it worth every penny. Rogers Barbecue is locally owned and run with care since 1945. Come eat with us Monday through Saturday from 11 to 9, or use our carry-out window. Rogers Barbecue, New Franklin Road, LaGrange.
At Holmes Pharmacy, we're ready to make you feel right at home and do it with very competitive prices. So if you're looking for a pharmacy that cares and price still matters, look no further than Holmes Pharmacy. It's time to go to a pharmacy that really cares about you. Holmes Pharmacy, now with 3 locations, Hamilton, LaGrange, and now in Sawmill inside the Piggly Wiggly grocery store.
Come on, take the deal and run. take the deal and run.
At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center, we believe teamwork makes all the difference in your health. We believe that skilled people can achieve higher standards and exceptional results. We believe in a game plan that's focused on patient safety and quality care. At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center in LaGrange, we believe in life well lived. To learn more about award-winning healthcare, visit wellstar.org/WGMC.
There's a storm coming. We may not know its path, but your independent auto owner's insurance agent knows no matter what happens, we'll be there when you need us most. Strong through every storm. That's how it's been for our first 100 years, and how it will be for generations to come.
Mallory Agency at MalloryAgency.com. For all your insurance needs, it's the Mallory Agency.
Now back to the Coach's Corner live at Johnny's New York Style Pizza on Eagle 102.3, WLAG 96.9 FM, 1240 AM, and online at eagle1023.com.
Hey, welcome back. We got about a minute, but just to clear up any confusion for you guys that might be watching us on the web later on, this is actually a University of North Georgia shirt. Okay, just checking. All right. So we've got about a minute to go, and we'll be down in Harris County Friday night, 7:30 kickoff time. You guys come on down. Tiger Nation, the Troup Tiger Nation needs to show up strong like you have been for the last 2 or 3 years, and we just keep building on it, and that's what we want to see. And the players react to when you guys are in the stands, and let's face it, we all love to see when we were that athlete on that field, and several years ago, we enjoyed looking up and knowing the stands were full, and so you guys, let's do that again Friday night down in Harris County. 7:30, and any coach, any last let it go.
Well, our fans have been great all year, or the last 3 or 4 years. Coming, in the last 3 years, I guess I shouldn't say anything about that 1-9 season, but
we were still there. Right?
Yeah, I didn't stop talking about that. But I think we got a good football team. I think they'll make a lot of the Troup people proud, and so it's going to be a good contest down at Harris County this Friday night, and so we'll go kick it off at 7:30 and play some ball.
All right. Well, you guys check out eagle1023.com throughout the week. You can look at past games. You can select listen live or watch live, and I believe there's some videos of the 2018 season, which has the Coach's Corner here, as also has the previous ball games. If you guys want to watch that, feel free to go on and also check out the sponsors and patronize those guys and keep the business local as you can. With that, I'm your host, Greg Hicks, along with head coach Tanner Glisson. We'll see you guys next week on the radio. Go Tigers.